Right to our meteorologist John Dawson, because I know everyone wants to know where things stand in our part of the state.
Yeah, and I am going to start with the bigger picture, at least for our corner of Texas, and sort of show what's happening now, what could be happening later, and again, we'll dive into things to quite a bit of extent here. Let's start with the fact that over here where you see the red, these are where the tornado warnings are currently. We're going to look at those in just a minute, but all of these yellow shaded counties are the tornado watch, meaning it could happen up until 10 p.m., and of course that time can be adjusted a little bit as necessary, but it looks to be pretty much on where it needs to be right now with the speed that these tornadoes are moving. And again, we're going to look at those a lot closer here in just a minute. As far as the flood concerns, this is going to be later in the evening. This is going to be past midnight, probably going to be more like 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. and even closer to sunrise. So there's definitely a flooding threat. That would include the city of Houston, Montgomery County, up into Walker County. So there's definitely a lot of populated areas, very urban areas that are going to be a part of this flood watch. That will be happening later on in the evening. And we still have this wind advisory where we've had gusts of 35 to 40 miles an hour, even higher than that throughout the day. That's going to also remain. So we are going to be, in the next couple of hours at least, we're kind of winding it up a little bit with some of these wind conditions. But we'll dive in a little bit closer and look at some of these tornado warnings. These are all separate warnings that are out there. A couple of them have been confirmed tornadoes on the ground, and others have been indicated as possible tornadoes by rotation in radar. So these are technically just outside of the Fox 26 viewing area, but beginning to move towards the northern portions of Washington County, Burleson County, Brazos County, and we'll continue to watch this type of activity as these storms continue to move across to the northeast. Back here right now in Harris County in the Houston area, if you've been outside, you know how quiet it is. We've had a little bit of rain, but it's not even really showing those downpours like up in Liberty County where you see a little bit of yellow. That's just a little bit of a heavier downpour. The rest of Houston has been very quiet, but we do expect a lot more activity later, and we'll look at the futurecast here in just a second. So we're continuing to watch this large, sort of the orangish area here is the highest probabilities of seeing severe weather. And remember, we've been talking about tornadoes. But you have, in addition to that, you've got hail up to 2 inches, possibly even in size, that could be happening, as well as just straight line damaging winds. Obviously, a tornado is going to cause a lot of problems, but it doesn't have to be rotating to be very strong winds and causing damage. So all of that is a possibility for the rest of the evening in this part of the country. And this storm system will continue to march even a little bit further on. So here's another closer look at the tornado warnings that are happening to the northwest of the Houston area. Huntsville is in our Fox 26 viewing area, so it looks like the way these storms are tracking right now, they will pass just to the north of Huntsville, which would be good news again for that part of our viewing area. But over into College Station, definitely getting ready for some stormy weather at this point in time. So again, here's a quick review of our double threat that we're talking about. It starts with the tornado watch. Those are the counties that you see in red, and then that secondary threat, which is going to impact more people probably, is the flooding threat, because this is the urban areas. Harris County, Montgomery County, highly populated, lots of concrete. And when that rain starts falling later on, that is definitely going to add up and create some problems. So that's what I want to take a minute on right now to really look at. Now remember, with our computer modeling, we're not going to get so focused on a super specific location. We're going to use that as a good guide to know what can happen near this particular area. So as we move through the evening, look how this rainfall starts to add up just to the north of Harris County, the northwestern corner of Harris County, moving through central Montgomery County, which would include the Woodlands and Conroe, and then further up into the northeast. This is the range of 5 to 6 inches of rain. And over that shorter amount of time, that is going to back up onto our roadways, and it's going to create some short-term street flooding. We've talked with the Harris County Flood Control District earlier in the evening, and they feel that the bayous are empty enough that it can handle this much rain, but it is going to take a little time to get it from the streets and into the bayous, and that's when those roadways could be flooded a little bit. And a lot of these are going to be those common roadways that catch a little too much water and that you know about a little bit. So we're going to have to be safe with that. Now, I'm going to take a moment to just talk about a little bit of a bright spot, and then we're going to get back to those possible tornadoes here. But when this is all over, 10 a.m. starting to wrap itself up for sure by lunch tomorrow. We're then setting ourselves up for a fantastic rest of the week. So the week ahead is certainly looking great, but we definitely have the possibility of some storms and, again, some severe weather, some potential for some very damaging weather that's going to be coming our direction. And this is what's happening. This is our concern right now, are these tornado warnings that are to the northwest of the Houston area. Our reporter, Matthew Seedorf, is dealing with some of these, or is setting himself up to be close to some of these. And we talked on the phone earlier, Matthew, and I don't know exactly where you are now because we were discussing where you need to be for safety and for good coverage. So tell me where you are and tell me what you're seeing.
Yeah, JD, right now we're in College Station. We're looking to the southwest, actually towards one of those tornado-warned storms. And within the last 30 minutes or so, we definitely noticed the lightning really starting to ramp up, as well as the wind. We are seeing a little bit of drizzle, but right now it's mostly just distant lightning as that storm approaches. I'm just curious, for people that are in College Station or Brazos County, from College Station to Bryan, maybe have friends there, JD, what's the timeline looking like? When can we expect conditions here to really deteriorate?
Yeah, that's a great question because these storms, this one that we've been looking at, this is there's a couple of them that are definitely within vision, as far as the storms go. But the one that could potentially go through the College Station area, this is being tracked at close to 50 miles an hour at the moment. So within the next hour for sure, but it's probably going to be more like the next 30 minutes. You're going to begin to see this storm system blow through there quite quickly. And again, this is one of the warned systems, and this is one that's radar indicated, so it hasn't been confirmed on the ground, but it does have a distinct signature of rotation when you look at it on the radar. And so we'll also have to watch, though, for sure, as well as we look back to the north a little bit at another one back towards Rockdale that's already moved through Rockdale. So definitely going to be a bit of a concern. So Matthew, I'll say it again, I told you on the phone earlier, be safe, but definitely get that coverage of what you're looking for there. And what about the folks in College Station? Are they kind of ready for this, you think, or are they going to be surprised?
Yeah, I was going to say, you could definitely tell that people here in College Station knew that there were storms in their future today. We were driving around talking to people, and actually just a few minutes ago, we're actually up on a parking garage and prepared to take shelter. There was a bunch of people that were moving their cars to lower levels, also trying to avoid any possible hail damage, because it does sound like there could be hail associated with this storm. Is that kind of something that you're noticing, JD?
Yeah, they always sort of prioritize the threat. So when you talk about the severe weather, the three general concerns about severe weather are going to be damaging winds, large hail, and of course the tornadoes. And so if you get a tornado indication that it's going to be there, they're going to just issue that tornado warning. And it might mean that there's also hail or even those straight line winds within that storm, but because that's the most dangerous threat, it sort of goes straight to that. When we look at our map right here, you'll notice a few more storms a little further back, just to the west of Rosebud. That orange or gold shading there, that's a severe thunderstorm warning. So that doesn't have the rotation, but it has either some strong winds or it has the hail threat. So I would not be surprised if this particular storm system that is moving quickly towards College Station certainly has the rotation, the possibility of having a tornado in it, but also definitely having some of the hail threats that are in it as well. And so, yes, it's not just tornadoes that people are going to be concerned with in this portion of our viewing area. It's also the hail and the large winds, the strong winds, the large hail and the strong winds as well.
Yeah, JD, my last thing here is just, I think some people are concerned. Actually, I think we're getting a tornado warning right now, alert on our phone, so we're going to take shelter. But I do think some people are concerned that this is happening at night. Yeah, I actually just got a tornado warning as we speak for College Station and Bryan. It looks like it's going until 9 o'clock for where we are right now. It says to seek shelter. So we're going to go ahead and do that. But I was going to say, JD, that there are a lot of people concerned that this is happening at night in the dark, and it just makes it all a little more challenging. I'll go ahead and send it back to you. We're going to go ahead and take shelter.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you keep yourself safe. And yes, you can now see my map is updated at the same time as you receive that alert. This box that is now moved out and including Bryan also would include College Station. So this is the area where Matthew is in and where we just got that warning that was extended because of that speed that's going through there. So again, we were talking about the timing of it. I think it's definitely going to be within the next 30 minutes that this is moving through, and maybe even quicker than that, because this is moving close to 50 miles an hour is what they're estimating at the moment. So this is the particular area. So that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for what I've got to say over here in the weather department. And I'm glad we were able to hear from Matthew Seedorf as well, and make sure that he is going to be seeking shelter. And he'll, of course, have the full report. And we'll talk more about all this coming up at 9 o'clock.
All right, JD, we'll continue to follow you. And if you want to get the alerts just as quickly as Matthew did, make sure you have the Fox 26 weather app. You may also be seeing people post about the possibility of tornadoes having ripped through parts of Texas. For example, in the town of Jacksboro, which is about 60 miles northwest of Fort Worth, witnesses say they saw the storm hit several school buildings around 4 o'clock this afternoon. The Jacksboro ISD superintendent has offered an update.
I'm thankful to report that we have no injuries of students or staff, and I'm not aware of any parents that were on any of our campuses that sustained any injuries. Substantial damage to our elementary and high school. Both of the gym at the elementary, the roof was taken off, walls collapsed. You can see the damage here at our high school gymnasium. This wall was collapsed. We sustained some damage at our football stadium, our ag facility also sustained substantial roof damage.
We also are hearing that some nearby homes and an animal shelter were damaged right near those schools. But so glad to hear no reports of injuries.
And that is good to hear. And we are also seeing some of the damage come in on social media tonight. Fox 26 anchor Rashi Vats has been checking on that. So Rashi, what are you seeing tonight?
So we know that friends in parts of Texas, especially the Northeast, are really feeling the storm effects. Several reported tornadoes touching down. Now, I do want to get to that, but first let's go to JD, because we do believe that there is some breaking news happening in the weather department.
Yeah, this is something that was happening quite quickly, and I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to do this before 9 o'clock, but they have made that change quite quickly. They've extended the tornado watch area. If you'll remember earlier, I was showing you this map here with our shaded counties. Montgomery County, Walker County, over into San Jacinto and Liberty as well. Those were, and San Jacinto, those were not included in the watch a moment ago. So what they've done is they've also extended the time frame on that. So there's still some stronger storms down to the southwest that are expected to continue to move into our viewing area. And so the National Weather Service really just a couple of seconds ago expanded the tornado watch. They did it in the size as well as the timeline. So just again, briefly to bring you up to speed on the latest, and I want to get over to back to the computer and send this out on social media so that those folks who aren't watching the stream right now will get that right away. The tornado watch has been expanded both in time and location. It now includes Montgomery County as well as Walker County. And it now goes until 3 o'clock in the morning. So we're definitely looking at the potential for some stronger storms. So Rashi, we'll go ahead and get back in here about those places that have already seen some damage from you.
Yes, they definitely have. So those tornadoes were reported around 6 p.m. in Jarrell, Luling, and Round Rock. This is according to the National Weather Service. And you know that they're probably surveying the damage right now, and it's a little bit harder because it is nightfall. So this video that you're looking at is from Round Rock, Texas. It's just north of Austin. The strength of that tornado, damage and injuries are still unknown at the time right now. But just about 20 miles east of Round Rock, a reported tornado was captured by Aaron Jajak in Taylor. Now we're also getting other video in as well, which we will be giving to you and reporting on it coming up in our 9 p.m. hour. But we do know that Governor Greg Abbott has directed the Texas Division of Emergency Management to prepare resources to aid communities impacted by all of this severe weather. Jonathan, Caitlin.
All right, Rashi, thanks so much. And keep in mind that our coverage of the severe weather moving through Texas continues on fox26houston.com and our free news app.
And join us again live in about 45 minutes on Fox 26 News at 9. We'll be right here with everything you need for getting through the night.